All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. I have a question coming from an older man, kind of like myself. He asked me, where do I get my resolve? Where do I get my discipline? And where do I get my strong demeanor from? That's how he's saying it and wording it. And I thought I would go ahead and answer this. First of all, number one, some of us in this life, and I'm going to say it that way because we all have different ways that that we behave and think. As a little boy growing up, I have always been different from the crowd. Also, I'm not one that has ever followed the crowd. I had friends, back on the block. They would smoke dope, do drugs, and I'd be sitting right there with them. And they'll say, "You want some?" I was, "Nope, sure don't." And I never have ever taken any. Now, I'm not trying to condemn anybody else who did, because to each its own. It's your life. But I didn't want any. They'd be doing all kinds of stuff. Now, I would be right there, but I just wouldn't participate. I actually got in a fight with one guy simply because he didn't like the fact that I didn't do what they did. It made no difference to me. We rolling. And mind you, when I got older, same thing. But I always have had, whether I knew him to the capacity and the level that I do now, or didn't back then, I've always had a fear of God. And I can't explain that. I've always had it in my heart to never do people wrong. And I've always had it in my heart to protect others, to protect those who are done wrong by those who laugh and love to exploit doing wrong to others. That's always been my persona. And it didn't make no difference to me, what type of harm I would put myself in, but I just could not just stand by and watch what you would call the strong wicked take advantage of and exploit and destroy those that are weak for no reason whatsoever at all. I mean, there's times in high school I saw people picking on people just because they look like nerds or they look different. And I got in a fight with two guys. Matter of fact, one guy, as I beat up these two guys, I actually took the wall locker after I stuffed the other guy's head in it and started playing a tune on his head, simply because he was messing with this defenseless little boy that did nothing to nobody. I actually fought people because, in our school we did crazy things. There was this, what in the world they will call this nerdy looking girl. And she didn't bother anybody. And there was this Pentecostal girl, she didn't bother anybody too. And I saw these seniors just pull her hair really, really hard. And they kept on messing with her. And I threw my books down. I went over there and I gave them a 5-finger discount. And I saw them didn't mind it if men did it to each other, boys did each other, but I saw them giving a little girl a wedgie, making her crying, and then kicking her and stuff. So I went over and kicked them in their sack. I've just been that way. That's just all this. I've just been that way. So I went into the military, still the same way. Who knows? Probably had something to do with it. I didn't know pretty much what I wanted to do in life, even though I spent 10 years in the military. I'm not like those where I was comfortable saying, it's just something I was doing. But once I met the Most High, or can I say, once I met the Most High, everything changed. From that point, I knew in life what I wanted to do. I wanted to serve Yah. And I did. And I have been. And I thought in my mind that when you start embracing truth, when you would read the Bible, and you start living it and doing it, I thought that people would be excited for you. That was my thought. I thought people would literally be excited. You are not abusing anyone. You're not hurting anyone. I spent my whole life helping people. And I would thought that, man, people would be happy about this. And then I really had this illusion in my mind that if I tell the people the truth of what I've learned in the Bible that the churches are not telling them, then people will be ecstatic and elated. Well, only one problem. That wasn't the case. As a matter of fact, ever since I've been serving Jesus, I've been mocked, scorned, derided, chided, ridiculed, cast out, castigated, called all kinds of names. I've had people with visceral attitudes towards me, racial slurs, ostracization, the whole 9 yards, all levy my way. And people say, does it trouble you? Well, only in part, because number one thing is when you know who you are, which I discovered that later, and that didn't do nothing but strengthen my resolve. When you know who you are and you know what you're doing is just, because when you look at the alternative, I'm talking about life in general, you look at the alternative, you go, this can't be it. I mean, we're surrounded by wickedness. And it's like, in this time and day that we're living in, 2018, we have come full circle to what the prophet Isaiah said would happen in the world. Isaiah said that there will be a time that would come when evil would become good and good would become evil. And I go by that model, evil only triumphs when good men do nothing. And to myself personally, I don't care if it's socially, politically, economically, or especially on a religious perspective and point of view, it's just in my heart, it's laid up on me. It's like a burden on my back. It's in my heart to tell people the truth, to deliver as many people as I can through the truth, because I mean, the truth is what sets free, and then live it and be an example of it. I think I've done more of an excellent job in living for the truth and being an example of a man to Israel than I have not. And my strength and resolve comes from knowing who I believe in, knowing who I am, especially now that I've discovered myself after reading that Bible, and then living to be just, honest, and truthful. And hate liars, hate deceit, and hate people who literally physically toy around and play around with your minds. They use you and they game you without even your knowledge or knowing. Words are very powerful. And most people, if they can lie and they can sway your minds through a lie, they will do it. I mean, you can look on here. I mean, if you look on this line right here, there's just off the top of my head, there's Kathy Smith, Eric Gonzalez, John Tatum, Steve Campanelli. I can go on and on just by naming people. Denzel McGee. I can just keep going on and on and on naming people. Mike LeMay, which is the latest one, who have literally just flat out fabricated falsehoods and lies just to try to sway people. And they often use my delivery, my demeanor. But see, they never pay attention to the fruit. Nobody ever pays attention to the fruit. Only a few people. There are some intelligent people out there that, okay, they go, man, this man is upset. Now let me hear what he's upset about, because whatever it is, it's highly got him upset. And when they listen to it, you won't believe how many emails I get that say, Pastor, I hear you. Thank you for your care, and thank you for your concern, and thank you for your stance. That is the reason why I do what I do. Not because of all the people who are pessimistic towards me or those who reject me. I could care less about those. My life is in service to the Most High and in service to deliver and bring as many people out of falsehoods and lies as I can. But I cannot unless you have self-determination unless you have self-autonomy, that you yourself is going to resolve in your heart that you're going to check behind the things that I say. Because I'll be first to tell you, you will hate my delivery if you have a soft demeanor, if you have a countenance and an attitude shaped after Euro America. You're going to hate me because I'm not like these snakes, these fork-tongued snakes and dogs that speak softly, change my face and demeanor in order trying to gain you, but really behind my back or behind your back, I've got a plan to destroy you. With me, what you see is what you get, period, point blank. I have no ambition or no dream whatsoever at all to deceive or hurt anyone. Yet I will cry aloud and I will spare not. I will continue to lift up my voice like a trumpet, and those who have the ears to hear, they will hear. And the ones that don't, they won't. See, I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm going to prophesy to the wind. It makes no difference to me whether people hear or forbear. But I would love that you would hear what I have to say, because you're not going to meet too many men like me in this world. That I know of, because I've searched it and seen it. You're not going to meet too many men that really truly cares for your estate like I do. So there are people who are deceived. There are people who want to sway you from the path of eternal life. Now, the path of eternal life is Yahshua HaMashiach, but Yahshua has his ministers, and Satan has his ministers. But Satan ministers pose themselves as angels of light. And my job is to expose those liars so that you don't be deceived. But again, if you don't do your own due diligence, if you don't check behind, if you don't really truly do your own investigation, the whole world will point their finger. You see how he talk? You see what he says? One thing they can't ever deny with me. Because remember, they say Paul's speech was contemptible. They say that Paul was rude in speech. I guess I fit that same category. But the one thing they can't ever do is deny the works. Jesus said, if you cannot believe me for my words, then believe me for the very works' sake, because they do testify of me. If you can't believe me for what I'm saying, if it seems over top or inappropriate, then take a look at the fruit. Look at the lifestyle. And that lets you know clearly who I am. And all across this world, United States of America, people are seeing this. Everybody ain't dumb. Everybody has not been GMO modified. Everybody is not dumb on purpose. Everybody is not letting the chemical trails mess with their minds. Everybody's not doing it. Everybody don't have a fog up here in the cloud is. Everybody's not living on a hope and dream, hoping that one day their reality would change. Well, I tell you clearly how to get your reality changed. But my resolve is number one, don't care about those that are against you. Matter of fact, the Apocrypha clearly says, you accept no man against your person. Do you understand that? If anybody resolves to be against you and you have not done nothing to them and they personally attack you, don't accept them whatsoever at all. Don't give them place. That's a defense for you. This common theology that they have in America, love your enemies, that's going to get you in trouble. That's going to get you in some serious trouble because your enemies hate you. What you need to do is really find out what that means when it says love your enemies. Now, I talk about this stuff all the time, but I don't care about what people say who attack me, who have a different attitude. My attitude is this, and you heard me say it once. If you heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. All publicity is good publicity. You know the reason why? Because the only people that really truly come to the ministry of Straightway are intelligent people who can read between the lines, who can see what personal attacks. They can see when a man or woman is envious or jealous, which that's obvious. That's part of the curses over in Deuteronomy 28. But they can see all that, but then they pay attention to fruit. That's why you'll get people, you'll see me post videos of what people said about those who have literally sat with me, broke bread with me, and ate with me. Not those who came for a day, went away and got offended for some other reason, which I don't know. But you hear it. It's all noise. Look at their fruit. And then the last thing is this. You know, over in the book of Acts, it says something like this. It says, if these men are not of God, then this work will come to naught. However, if they are of God, you can't do nothing against it. And if you continue to keep fighting against this, you're going to be fighting against the Most High himself. So my advice is you leave these men alone. That's wisdom. And I've had many people come against me. I would say, listen to what they have to say. Look at their lives more than anything. Look at their lifestyle, because people can deceive you with words, but you cannot deceive nobody with the way that you live. See if they have somebody that seals their brotherhood, their apostleship, their pastorship, their sisterhood. See if they have many people around them that agree with them, and see if they have a following and to confirm what they believe. You know what I mean? Really. And of course, then another wisdom saying is, do not meddle in other men's matters. In other words, if it don't pertain to you, don't go stick your nose into somebody else's business when it's not yours. You don't need to stress. You don't need the undue hardships. And you just really, truly don't need all that. Work for peace in your life. So number one is don't care about what people think. They're not putting food on your table. They're not putting clothes on your back. They're not helping you in any way, shape, fashion, or form. It's sad to see that social media has become the tool of death and destruction for many people's lives. Just the other day, I read on here that someone killed themselves because a bunch of people piled on them saying negative words and negative things towards them. And they just said, I'm going to end it all. And they killed themselves live on social media. And I was like, man, that is a pretty weak mind. People can say whatever they want against me. You follow me? I don't give one damn rat's ass what they say. Don't. You're not going to sway me or change my course simply because you lie on me, you falsify information, or you try to condemn me. I'm stronger than that. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. You can forget it. Say whatever you want. It ain't going to get me to cow down. It ain't going to get me to cowtail. You know, the other day I made a video and I talked about how a lot of Christian pastors are being condemned because they've had a mistress on the side. And so I asked the question. I said, show me in the Bible that man has committed zanu, fornication, or adultery, if the woman is not married or betrothed. All I get is, that's all I get. I said, okay, I heard the noise. I'm asking you to show me in the Bible where he did anything wrong that you call it a sin. That doesn't make it sin just because you call it a sin. Show me in the Bible that it's sin, because it's by the knowledge of the law. See, it's by the knowledge. The law tells us what sin is, because sin is a transgression of the law. So if you know what the law says, I know what the law says. And all I hear again, I said, okay, I'm going to ask y'all again. Show me that this man having a concubine or a mistress is a sin. Then them Jezebels come out with a clackling hen mouth. I said, okay, again. I see I'm not going to get an answer. I heard the noise. But you can't condemn. Okay. But they go get condemned because they believe wrong. And I told them, I finished the conversation by saying this. I tell you what, if I go out here and get me a single woman that's not married or betrothed, and I want to make her a concubine or what you call a mistress, I don't give a damn what any of y'all say. You ain't going to change one bit about my course. I am the head and the man at the head of my life. I mean, I'm the head of Christ is the head of my life. I'm the head of my home. And I'm the master of my life. And I don't care what you think. You ain't going to condemn me for that whatsoever at all. You go talk to those punk, weak men out there. It ain't going to happen with me. Now, why did I use that as an example? Because in this world of perversion, to where we accept a man inserting himself in another man's butthole, to where we accept men and women and making it legal to lay with animals, bestiality, to where we accept pedophilia on an unprecedented scale from the outhouse called the White House all the way down. You think I'm going to let a bunch of degenerates turn around and condemn me for something that the Bible doesn't? You are out of your mind. See, that's the reason why I tell you all, you got to get clear. I use these as examples because they're the most hard-hitting examples. The most hard-hitting. Somebody asked me, well, did you lay with her? Is she your mistress or concubine? If I was in a political realm, I would say, yes, she is. Now, pick and choose, do whatever you want. That's all it's doing. But it still doesn't change my policies. It still doesn't change what I stand for. Because even at that, I'll say again, nobody can bring condemnation. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Because you don't like it, you ain't God. I use those to bring impact, to show you that people really truly don't care about what that Bible says. But I do. I do. And they really truly don't care about living righteous and set apart. But I do. I have a family, no matter where I go in this world. The Bible says when you go to a city, you inquire thereof who is worthy and there abide. Every place I go, I have a place I can lay my head. I have a diverse family. If you go to straightway.com or straightwaytruth.com, just like it's spelled back there, you'll see a big old picture of my family, people from all over the world. Diversity. I mean, we have a diverse ministry, unbelievable. Unlike the Messianics who have 99.9% white people. British Israelite doctrine is what they call it. Or unlike the people that they give the false designation of black Hebrew Israelites, who have mostly black people and a few Hispanics. We have a balance. Black, white, all over. It makes no difference. Again, you may not like what I say, but you can't condemn it. And by their fruits, you shall know them. And by their fruits, you shall know them. And by their fruits, you shall know them. So I think my strongest point has always been, is I really truly, see, I'm living my life here. I have one life to live, and I better have it right, and I better make sure I get it right before the breath goes out of my body. I'm concerned about that. Others may not be concerned about theirs, but I'm totally concerned about my eternity. I promise you that. And as a result of that, I make sure I live my life to the best of my ability, to as much as I know how, in service of the creator universe. I alone am going to have to answer to him. I'm totally unconcerned about a bunch of cardinal-minded people who ain't living one iota of this truth. You would never be my judges. You would never judge me. It would never happen because I would not be affected. I would never let your judgment even come nowhere close to me. It will not stop me in what I'm doing. But I know this. My faithful brothers and sisters who love me, they know who I am. I will continue to be an example and keep serving the Most High for their sake, my sake, and the kingdom's sake. That I will do. I will continue to be a man of truth, regardless of what the world says. I'm totally unconcerned about what people say. But there are those who are close to me, who are in what you call my inner circle. They know me for who I am. And I love them dearly. And I think that's what you need to do, because your first enemy is going to be your natural family. Isn't it crazy, though? You can go out here and be a whore, a whoremonger, a pimp, a drug addict, a prostitute. You can be a wife abuser, a pedophile, a homosexual, and your family don't have nothing to say about it. They may talk about you behind your back. They won't do it to your face. Start keeping the commandments, and you're going to watch death, hell, and Hades, and all those who serve Satan come out against you. You're going to be, you don't believe me? Just start keeping the Sabbath day and see what happens. Just start doing it. Or just start following me as I follow Christ and watch and see what happens. You will see Matthew 10, starting in verse 33 to the end, it'll be a reality in your life. So be just, be true, be righteous. You'll sleep well at night when your conscience is clear, knowing that you're pleasing the Most High Yah. Because the truth is, you can't please man, but you can please Yah. And that's the truth. That's true straight away. I hope I said something that encourages all the heart of the remnant out there. I want you all to be encouraged. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. The King's coming.